Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Now, normally I am not the kind of person who wants to call people out on their stupid. And this is about a shipment that I read. It was about a book I bought and I tracked on Amazon. And true to their word, the package arrived within the time that they said it was going to arrive. However, I was tracking it, and the way that they shipped this particular package was unbelievable. This was, I won't say who the shipper was because it's not their fault, but I will say that it was the United States Postal Service. And, I understand that there are sort of shipping hubs that have to be, the same way that there are airline hubs, and everybody flying Delta is going to probably find themselves in Atlanta for some reason. I understand this. But the way this particular book was shipped was just ridiculous. It was so ridiculous that I was laughing. I wasn't upset because, as I said, the shipping estimate that they gave me, it was fine. But the way that they shipped it was so absurd that I have to go through this. And I'm going to put some maps up to try to show how insane the logistics of this shipping was. I'm not going to say which book it was either. It was a book I've unboxed, so go back and look. I would also like to apologize for the fact that I am in my thermal underwear. My apartment, the heating and air conditioning is just insane, and I've turned the heating off, but it's still unbearably hot in here. The knits that I had on earlier just were not doing it for me, so I stripped down to this. It's technically underwear, but I mean, it's like a shirt. I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't think this is too risque. Anyway, this particular thing I purchased. I don't remember when I purchased it, I'll be honest, but it was shipped. It was shipped from a book dealer in Salt Lake City, Utah. Okay. Now, I've driven across country. I have driven unbelievable distances from Monterey, California to the middle of Texas. I've driven from Chicago, Illinois, all the way to Monterey, California. So, I know how these these trips aren't easy. They're rough. I feel for the people who ship them. So I'm not trying to crap on the people who are doing the actual road work. This is about the logistics of where are you shipping something to get it from point A to point B. And point A here is Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, on Friday, March the 8th, my package was shipped from Salt Lake City, Utah. And it arrived at Ogden, Utah on Monday the 11th at almost 5 p.m. Now, Salt Lake City to Ogden is a 40-minute drive. It took it from Friday to Monday. What happened? That's insane. That's insane that it took a 40-minute drive from Salt Lake City to Ogden, Utah. Now, remember, the destination is Washington, D.C. So they shipped it from Salt Lake City to Ogden, a 40-minute drive. It took it from Friday to Monday evening to arrive at Ogden. Okay, now, so it's in Ogden at roughly 5 p.m. Monday March the 11th. March the 13th, Wednesday, it arrives where? Las Vegas, which is only 6 hours away from Ogden. Not only that, but they had to backtrack and drive through Salt Lake City to get to Las Vegas. So why didn't they just ship it from Salt Lake City to Vegas in the first place? That seems to make more sense. Moreover, why did it sit in Ogden all day Tuesday and it shipped Wednesday at 4:12 p.m.? So it was sitting in Ogden all day Tuesday. Nobody even noticed this thing. And my package was sitting somewhere. And then, almost quitting time on Wednesday, it arrives at Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, okay, so it arrives at Las Vegas, Nevada, Wednesday, March 13th. Right? So they have my package. When does it leave? Friday, March 15th at 9:40 a.m. So all day Thursday, nothing happened to my package. It's just sitting in Las Vegas. And then Friday, sometime in the morning, they put it on something, shipped it out from Las Vegas. By the way, the shipment from Las Vegas, I found out later, was going to Pennsylvania, which means that it had to backtrack all the way to Salt Lake City. Check it out on Google if you want to. Check out Google Maps. So when it went from Salt Lake City to Ogden and then down to Las Vegas, it had to backtrack all the way through Salt Lake City. Then when it went from Las Vegas to Pennsylvania, it had to backtrack all the way up to Salt Lake City again. Why not just ship it there from Salt Lake City? It's crazy. I was just like, at that point in tracking this, I was just laughing. It wasn't late in a technical sense, but what is happening? So anyway, so it ships out of Las Vegas Friday, March 15th in the morning, almost 10 o'clock in the morning. It arrives in York, Pennsylvania, 10:28 a.m. on Monday. Lots of donuts were stopped off for in that trip. That doesn't take that long. That's a trip. That's a haul. I'll admit, that's a haul from Las Vegas to York, Pennsylvania. But first of all, as I said, it's going to Washington, D.C. Why are you shipping it to York, Pennsylvania, which is further away and far to the north of Washington, D.C.? Okay, so maybe that's a hub. So it goes to York, Pennsylvania. It arrives Monday the 18th, 10:28 a.m. at York, Pennsylvania. It leaves that carrier facility at 9:20 p.m. So it sits there all day. Late in the evening, it ships out from York, Pennsylvania, right? So York, Pennsylvania is north of Washington, D.C. So you're like, okay, it's got to be headed south. Nope. It arrives Tuesday morning at 5:10 a.m. at Harrisburg. Now here's the thing. Harrisburg is just a few miles north of York. It leaves York at 9:20 p.m., only arrives at Harrisburg at 5:10 a.m. the next morning. What happened? Did you walk? Were you riding a donkey? It makes no sense. So it arrives at Harrisburg, north of York, at 5:10 a.m. Now here's to their credit. They shipped it out early at some point. So it arrives at another carrier facility at Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is south of Harrisburg, to their credit. But it's about as far away from Harrisburg as York is. They just shifted, it's just an angle away. At this point, I was laughing so hard, I was crying. It makes no sense why they would ship it from York to Harrisburg just to ship it back down to Lancaster. What the? Okay. At 9:28 a.m., the package left Lancaster. Okay. Thank God, right? It arrived at a carrier facility in Baltimore. That's fine. It's in between Lancaster and DC. So it gets to Baltimore at around 11 a.m. And then it arrived at a carrier facility in Hyattsville at around 1 p.m. Are there no direct links between Baltimore and DC? You've got to stop at Hyattsville? So anyway, it's at Hyattsville at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, March the 19th. And then at 2 p.m., like an hour later, it arrives at a carrier facility in Washington, D.C. Now, when I got this message, I was like, okay, it's about to be out for distribution, right? Right. That makes sense. And it's a little early at that time. I wasn't expecting it till Friday. Like I said, technically under the expectation. 2 p.m. On Tuesday, it arrives at a carrier facility in Washington, D.C. And then the very next message I get is 3:15 p.m. arrived at a carrier facility in Washington, D.C. So it's at another carrier facility now, or a little bit more than an hour later. And then the next message I get is at almost 8 p.m. the same day, Tuesday the 19th. Package has left the carrier facility. What happened next? Wednesday the 20th, 5:30 a.m. Package arrived at a carrier facility where? Washington, D.C. So it's been at 3 carrier facilities in Washington, D.C. Is this a game of hot potato? What the hell is going on? Okay, I want to say, I mean, seriously, I am not in any sense aggrieved because it arrived at this carrier facility at exactly 5:27 a.m. on Wednesday, March the 20th, and then it was sent out for delivery. It arrived at my apartment building. I got it. I got the package. But what is this crazy? What is this? How is this an efficient logistical system for delivering packages? I can't even believe that this is the way that my package got from Salt Lake City to DC, backtracking on itself, making some crazy, I mean, were they trying to draw something? What happened? I wish I knew where all these carrier facilities in DC were, because it's probably some Illuminati symbol that they were trying to draw with my package. It's just insane. Oh, I don't even know what to think about this. I was laughing so hard. Every one of my friends that I described this process to were laughing as well. They couldn't believe how zigzaggy this this transit was. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. No offense to the United States Postal Service. I don't know why this happened. Maybe you have a good reason. But it was just crazy to me. It just seemed insane to me. And I just thought I should do a podcast on how unbelievably weird this getting my package from Salt Lake City to DC was. If you thought this was funny, if you thought this was interesting, like, share, subscribe. I promise to do more stuff like this. I kind of avoided doing this because I thought it was just a rant that I shared among my friends. But you know what? They laughed. And I thought, maybe other people will laugh. I'm not upset. I want to reiterate, I'm not upset about this. It showed up a couple of days earlier than I expected it. But just watching the tracking, I was cracking up. And I just thought this was hilarious. And so if you thought that was funny, like, share, subscribe. And I'll try to do more stuff like this that are more lighthearted on Thoughts of Leith. Thank you.